Tonight, a tragic turn in the search for 4 people swept away by floods in Nova Scotia.
We can rebuild roads and bridges and buildings, but we can't bring people back.
The destruction and devastation left in the water's wake. Elon Musk rebrands Twitter and hints at a much different future ahead.
From a brand or business point of view, it's completely irrational.
And a game steeped in tradition, turned upside down.
Every decision we ask ourselves, is it fans first?
How do you account?
Paul Hunter on baseball's newest craze.
This is The National with Juanita Taylor.
Adrienne is away. There is mourning in Nova Scotia tonight. Police now confirm the body of a 52-year-old man has been found after he was reported missing in the historic floods that swept through the province over the weekend. Other unidentified human remains were also discovered. The water levels continue to recede, revealing severe damage to roads and rail lines, homes and businesses. But as Katie Nicholson shows us, tonight many in the province are focused on the tragic loss of life.
After searchers trudged through marshy tidal grass in punishing heat and humidity, finally, a grim result.
At approximately 9 a.m. this morning, the body of a 52-year-old Windsor man who had been reported missing was located by searchers in the primary search area.
The medical examiner is working to identify another set of human remains found nearby. 4 people were lost in the floodwaters, 2 children in one vehicle, a young person and a man in another. The historic flooding also took out major roads and infrastructure across the province. That, the Premier says, can be fixed.
We can rebuild, and we got through that, but now the loss of life is, it certainly brings a new perspective to the magnitude of these crises.
As the search for those still missing continues, so do new evacuation orders. Campers told to leave this park because of heavy road damage, catching some off guard.
Well, there's just 2 cats in the trailer, and as long as power's on, they're fine. They won't bother them any. But we'd like to have the rest of our life that's in the trailer.
The after effects of this storm now reaching far beyond Nova Scotia.
Over 60% of the cargo that moves through Halifax is not destined for the local market.
The floodwaters tore through parts of the Canadian National Rail Line, which transports goods in and out of the port of Halifax to points across the continent.
The sooner this can be fixed, the better off we'll all be.
A sentiment shared by homeowners.
We can't get our vehicles out. We don't have any clue how long it's going to take.
Friends used to tease Sarah Connolly about her steep driveway of doom. That was before the flood carved out this trench.
We never imagined we actually would have a driveway of doom like we do now.
That wry outlook and resilience needed to carry Nova Scotia through this latest catastrophe.
Katie, what more do we know about the search for the rest of the missing?
We learned a lot more about the RCMP's progress. They were able to narrow down a primary search zone, they told us, and they located the second vehicle. While there are helicopters and hovercraft involved in this search, so much of it is being done painstakingly by divers and searchers who are wading chest deep with special flotation devices through this very dense, marshy area. And of course, there are the people on foot walking a grid looking for any sign of the missing.
That's our Katie Nicholson in Hubbards, Nova Scotia. Thousands more tourists have been forced to flee wildfires in Greece tonight. On the island of Rhodes, fierce heat and strong winds are fueling the fires, which have been burning for days. More than 20,000 tourists have been taken to shelters or flown home in what the government is calling its largest ever wildfire evacuation. About 2,500 tourists were shuttled to safety on the island of Corfu, where several fires are burning out of control. There are protests across Israel tonight after a controversial law was passed. This was the scene in Tel Aviv. Thousands filled the streets and came face to face with police. The protests triggered by a vote in Parliament to weaken the country's Supreme Court. Peter Armstrong takes us through what happened and the concerns that the crisis is far from over.
In a flurry of bluster, recriminations, and last-minute walkouts by the opposition, Israel's parliament prepared to vote on the first stage of its deeply contentious plan to overhaul its justice system. Israelis on both sides say this is an existential moment. Across the country, Israelis flooded into the streets demanding the government back down.
We're here to protect our democracy. We were left with no choice.
The bill gives Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's ultra-nationalist coalition government the ability to prevent the Supreme Court from blocking government decisions. Supporters say it puts power in the hands of elected officials instead of the courts.
I'm here today to make it clear to the people that I've elected, to the people that I voted for, to the people that I support, that I am 100% in favor of this judicial reform.
But political scientists say this is not just about one bill or even a series of reforms. At its heart, they say this crisis is about a long-standing split between those who want Israel to be a more secular, more pluralist country, and those who want Israel to be more nationalist and more religious.
The underlying debate is, the nature of Israel as a state.
This Israeli political scientist says the bill fundamentally erodes Israel's status as a democracy, and it pits those two differing groups against each other.
The next couple of months are going to be I hope they will not be bloody, but they will be very tense.
Tonight, Netanyahu didn't exactly calm those tensions. In an address to the nation, he said the reforms are required, but that he believes he can find common ground with opposition parties. Tonight, the demonstrations roiled on while everyone considers their next moves. Opposition parties may launch a legal challenge. Army reservists may resign en masse, and unions may launch a general strike. Peter Armstrong, CBC News, London.
To the war in Ukraine, Russia is threatening retaliation after a drone strike in Moscow. 2 buildings were hit in the Russian capital, although it's unclear if they were the intended targets.
В Москве рано утром пресекли атаку украинских беспилотников.
There were no injuries and no claim of responsibility. Russia blames Ukraine. Washington also reacted today.
We've been clear that as a general matter, we do not support attacks inside of Russia.
But Russia continues to hit Ukrainian food exports. This attack hit a grain storage facility. Russia pulled out of a deal last week that allowed safe passage for Ukrainian grain. Global wheat prices have since shot up more than 15%. The UN is urging Russia to come back to the deal.
The most vulnerable will pay the highest price, as when food prices rise, everybody pays for it.
Kiev says the latest Russian bombing campaign has so far destroyed more than 60,000 tons of grain. Now to a major makeover for Twitter. Elon Musk revealed a new name and a new look for the platform. And as Katie Simpson tells us, it could be a sign of more big changes to come.
X marks the spot where the little blue Twitter bird died. The new name and logo of the social media giant X lit up its headquarters until daylight, when a worker on a crane was hired to physically strip the building of its past, ushering in a new era for owner Elon Musk.
Is he going to keep it as a hugely influential social media company, or does he want to do something else?
The company's CEO says X's goal is unlimited interactivity, centered in audio, video, messaging, payments, banking, creating a global marketplace for ideas, goods, services, and opportunities. Translation. Twitter will become an app you can use for any aspect of daily life.
Basically from ride sharing to e-commerce to banking on one app. That's similar to what we see with WeChat in China.
Experts say this kind of transformation could take years and cost billions of dollars in investments.
There are big questions about how they are actually going to pull this off, especially since it's been such a tumultuous time since Musk has purchased the company.
The Tesla CEO and SpaceX founder bought Twitter for $44 billion US last October. He's since fired 80% of Twitter's staff and killed content moderation rules, making it easier to share hateful and false information. And now this decision to drop one of the most recognizable names in tech is puzzling many analysts.
From a brand or business point of view, it's completely irrational. It's probably the final strike in the complete unwinding of Twitter.
Rival tech companies have tried to replace Twitter, but nothing seems to have stuck just yet. Users still want a digital town square, and Musk remains in control of it. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.
Big changes also appear to be in the works in Ottawa tonight. CBC News has learned the Prime Minister is planning to shuffle his cabinet this week, and several ministers are being dropped. Catherine Cullen tells us what to expect and why.
Hi, how did the meetings go?
Seems like the first rule of cabinet shuffles is you don't talk about cabinet shuffles, at least publicly.
I serve at the pleasure of the Prime Minister of Canada.
But CBC News has learned that behind these doors, ministers are meeting with the Prime Minister to be shuffled. Sources say several will be dropped, including Transport Minister Omar Al-Gabra, who won't run again and will officially announce his plans tomorrow. Longtime Liberal Carolyn Bennett also seems to be out.
I have shared with the Prime Minister, met with the Prime Minister, that I will not be seeking re-election.
Hi, over here.
And lots of eyes will be on Public Safety Minister Marco Mendicino, who has had a number of struggles, the most recent over the prison transfer of serial killer Paul Bernardo. Last week, the Prime Minister dodged direct questions about whether Mendicino still had his confidence.
Anyone in my cabinet, by definition, has my confidence.
Sources have identified to CBC News two of the ministers with new responsibilities: Intergovernmental Affairs Minister Dominic LeBlanc and Official Languages Minister Jeanette Petitpas-Taylor. And some ministers will stay put. The highly charged environment file doesn't seem due for a change. The minister will be in India the day of the shuffle.
Unless my boss tells me that I'm no longer leaving for the G20, I'll be heading there tonight to represent Canada.
Sources also tell the CBC and Radio-Canada the Foreign Affairs and Finance ministers will stay put. Chrystia Freeland acknowledged just last week the Liberals have a lot of work to do.
We have an immigration target of 500,000 new Canadians every year, but that means we have to build a lot of houses for all those new Canadians.
The Liberals will try to up their game in the face of sharp criticism of their handling of housing and the economy. Sources say this is also about campaign readiness, shaping up the team for the next election battle. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Ottawa.
Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault took those cabinet shuffle questions as he was announcing the federal government's plan to end many of its fossil fuel subsidies. As Terry Reith shows us, that got instant pushback from some.
After years of pumping billions of dollars into Canada's oil and gas industry, the federal government is making a change, fulfilling a promise to G20 countries made more than a decade ago.
We're eliminating subsidies to produce fossil fuels in Canada, whether it's oil, gas, or coal.
The government says it will focus federal funds on things like solar, battery plants, and biofuels. For some, it's not enough.
The world is on fire! Shut the tar sands down or resign! You should be happy with this announcement. This is something you've called for many years.
Well, not everything it wants. Environmental Defense says it sets an important international benchmark.
If these new rules that were announced today are applied with integrity, it will rule out any new spending for oil, coal, and gas.
When it comes to some of the biggest fossil fuel subsidies, the exploration and development expense reductions, it misses the mark.
That's where they're leaving themselves a window.
Energy economist Andrew Leach notes there are exemptions for things like LNG, carbon capture, and Indigenous-led projects. He says it comes down to how the government defines its own rules.
I think one place you'll feel it certainly is the potential for new oil and gas development. The export question might be a big one where we see Canadian firms receiving government help or government guarantees.
The Alberta government says it will study the changes, complaining that the federal government has also provided no details on how much this policy will add to the costs faced by families and businesses. In fact, the federal government hasn't shared a cost breakdown or even how many subsidies might be involved. What it does say is this is a step on the road towards carbon neutrality by 2050. Terry Reith, CBC News, Edmonton.
Climate activist Greta Thunberg was dragged off by police again today, just hours after a court fined her for disobeying officers at the same protest site last month. Both times, she was attempting to block access to an oil facility in Sweden. She argued in court that fighting the fossil fuel industry was self-defense. The court disagreed and fined her just over $300. Canada's COVID response is coming under fire tonight. A leading medical journal has published an investigation into this country's handling of the pandemic. And as Lauren Pelly shows us, there are now calls for a national inquiry.
As Canadians raced to get vaccinated, waited to be tested, and lost loved ones.
Well, thank you very much.
Canada's previous health minister made a promise.
When the time is right, our government will be very open to examining very thoroughly the response of this country to the COVID-19 crisis.
Critics say the time has come for a national inquiry.
This is an opportunity for us to do better the next time.
Dr. Sharon Strauss helped produce a sweeping set of papers published tonight in the British Medical Journal. In those reports, more than a dozen medical experts suggest Canada was ill-prepared and lacked coordination.
We really have a moral and an ethical imperative in our country to actually reflect on what happened, reflect on the role that each of us played.
One paper points to new Ontario data which shows lower-income communities faced the highest rate of COVID-19 deaths through 7 waves of infections. The authors say Canada failed to protect its most vulnerable citizens, including racialized communities and essential workers. The new papers do praise the country's high vaccination coverage, but call Canada the world's chief vaccine hoarder. As for our biggest failure, the death toll in long-term care.
There had been more than 100 reports sounding an alarm that such a crisis would happen in that setting.
Yet Canada ended up among the top of wealthy countries for COVID deaths in care homes.
It was just a horror. It was just horror.
Eddie Callisto Tavares lost her father during an outbreak at his long-term care facility. She managed to get inside the home in the days before his death and says there were few staff left to help dying residents.
It's all of the other people that would be asking for water, that would be saying, I'm so cold, I need help. Those are the images and the voices that still haunt me.
Lauren, what is the federal government telling you about these calls for a national inquiry?
Well, officials say that some audits and studies are already underway, but the doctors I spoke to say that doesn't go far enough. It's more of a patchwork quilt. They want a full national inquiry to look at all of the missteps that were made in this pandemic, because we know it won't be the last time Canada faces this kind of public health crisis. But at the end of the day, it's also about taking anything that's recommended and implementing it to prevent these sort of mistakes from happening again.
Right, Lauren Pelly reporting in Toronto. A new study out tonight looks at how a lack of access to affordable, healthy food could impact the mental health of kids and teens. Paige Parsons takes us through the research.
9-year-old Royal is making lunch. Today, it's watermelon and noodles. She lives with her 6-year-old sister, her grandma, and her mom. Money is tight, and she knows it.
I worry that there's not enough to eat and that how there's not enough to pay rent because the rent is it's really high.
Her grandmother says she has skipped paying bills and turned to food banks to ensure there's enough to eat.
To be honest with you, it's really difficult because sometimes the food, what I want them to eat, I can't afford it because the budget.
New research published today in the Canadian Medical Association Journal found that kids who are food insecure, meaning they don't have access to affordable, healthy food, are dealing with health issues beyond hunger. They rely on the healthcare system to cope with mental health and substance use disorders 55% more than young people who have enough to eat, and end up in hospital 74% more than food-secure kids.
I think it's an indicator of living in a state of chronic stress where, you're unsure whether even your most basic needs will be met.
The study relies on data that's more than a decade old. But Anderson says, if anything, inflation and challenges brought on by COVID have made the issue worse. According to another study, as of last year, nearly 1.8 million children across the 10 provinces were food insecure, a figure that was higher than the year before. This family physician says there's a clear first step in addressing child food insecurity.
Social assistance programs that are drastically underfunded right across the country. So I would absolutely recommend beefing up the amounts that we pay through social assistance programs to at least bring families up to the poverty line.
He says food insecurity amongst Canadian kids is an urgent issue that's continuing to grow. Paige Parsons, CBC News, Edmonton.
The growing popularity of high-risk adventure tourism is raising concerns in Newfoundland.
I think we are living in a time of the Instagram-driven kinds of stunt.
The debate over who's responsible when things go wrong, next. Plus, playing by their own rules.
This is the greatest show in sports!
The baseball team vowing to always put fans first. And later, a close encounter with a fearsome predator.
Oh my goodness, look at him.
Eye to eye with a great white shark in New Brunswick. We're back in 2. Workers recovered the last victim of a roof collapse in northeastern China. The concrete top of a school gym caved in during a volleyball practice. At least 11 people are dead, most of them young girls. State media says construction work at the school was the likely cause. In Newfoundland, a string of dangerous misadventures by thrill-seeking tourists has sparked a debate. As Chris O'Neill-Yates reports, there are questions about who should pay for a rescue when things go wrong.
There was a British couple who ran into trouble attempting a transatlantic balloon flight. A sailor who tried and failed to cross the Atlantic in a 1-meter boat.
The boat basically sunk.
And of course, the expedition to the wreck of the Titanic that ended in tragedy. Concerns about risky tourism adventures really ramped up after this picture of 2 Americans camping on an iceberg went viral.
We're not encouraging it, but I would argue that this is roughly on the same plane of a lot of things or a lot of the risks that people take.
That's not how this professional ice climber sees it.
People will look at that and go, okay, well, that turned out well, so everything's good. But the reality is that they had no idea of what their hazards were. They were remarkably clueless.
Will Gadd says he'd never camp on an iceberg. He's climbed them, but with proper gear and a boat standing by in case anything went wrong.
One of the biggest concerns for me personally is try to minimize the amount of risk I would put a rescuer in.
I think we are living in a time of the Instagram-driven kinds of stunt.
T.A. Loeffler is an experienced adventurer who's climbed peaks in 20 countries.
If I do need to be rescued, I have to pay for that rescue, or the insurance that I carry pays for that rescue for the helicopter time. So there is that responsibility.
Right now, public money pays for rescues in Canada. Some say thrill seekers who get in trouble should help foot the bill.
The responsible thing would be for these people to post a significant bond to cover at least a good portion of the costs involved.
After this summer of misadventures in Newfoundland, it's an idea that could gain support. Chris O'Neill-Yates, CBC News, St. John's.
On the shores of the Arctic Ocean, the community of Tuktoyaktuk is facing a dire threat.
If I fell asleep and then woke up, and then maybe my porch would be gone.
My visit to a community feeling the effects of climate change and racing against time to adapt. Plus, the baseball team truly in a league of its own.
What's your move?
I'm the Canadian guy, so I'm trying to become your favorite Canadian banana. I pitch out there in a toque.
Paul Hunter drops in on the Savannah Bananas and the Canadian making his mark on the team. The National takes you deeper into the stories shaping our world next. Wildfires, floods, and extreme heat have climate anxiety rising right now. But for people in the Arctic hamlet of Tuktoyaktuk, that worry is a constant companion. Every year, more of the community washes into the Beaufort Sea. Tuk, as the locals call it, is in the far north of Northwest Territories, perched right on the Arctic Ocean. Last winter, I traveled there to see how climate change is changing it forever and to meet some of the people racing to adapt.
So from here, Noella, show me again where your house used to be. It was right here. This is where my front entrance used to be. And this little part in the front was actually eroding.
Noella Cockney's house here in Tuktoyaktuk had to be moved. It was at risk of falling into the now frozen Beaufort Sea. Climate change is threatening this entire Inuvialuit community. Rising sea levels, storm waves, and thawing permafrost could swallow much of Tuk into the sea in the next few decades.
Were you ever afraid that maybe in the middle of the night something drastic could happen when the waves would crash? Oh yeah, definitely. It's crazy, eh, dog? I didn't sleep a lot of the nights in the summertime the last 2 years there. It's scary. If I fell asleep and then woke up, and then maybe my porch would be gone.
Tuktoyaktuk is at risk of becoming the first community in Canada to be completely relocated because of erosion and rising sea levels.
What do you think the temperature is today?
I think it's about minus 14 plus the wind.
Makes it feel like
minus 25 probably.
I believe it.
Mayor Erwin Elias is leading his community in very challenging times.
Erwin, where are you taking us to first?
We're heading to the point, north part of the community of Tuktoyaktuk. I feel that the community of Tuk is in a state of emergency. We're told that in 50 years there'll be no more Tuk.
In spring, when sea ice starts to break and melt away, the threat of storm waves returns, peeling away the coastline. Up to a full meter falls away every year. Chunks of thawing permafrost made of sand, clay, and ice layers.
We've been having larger storm surges and more frequently. This fall we've had a storm surge for 1 week. It's devastating to see all these waves, taking the shoreline away.
We're here at the point, the most threatened area of Tuk.
Some people down south around the world, they might say, like, what's the big deal? Why is this such a big deal? Because it doesn't seem to be much, but it is a big deal.
This area all right here is a natural wave break separating the ocean and the harbor. So it's super important that, we protect this area.
And that is Tuk Island over there.
Tuk Island, just offshore, also protects the harbor from storms. It's disappearing even faster, increasing future flooding and erosion.
And from what we're being told today is that in 18 years in our lifetime that will all be gone.
Several homes, including Cockney's, have been relocated inland. Tugged to Tuktoyaktuk's newest subdivision, Reindeer Point. but not everyone is willing to leave. So this home belongs to a man who just doesn't want to move. He doesn't want to move his home to a new relocated site in the community. So we're here to talk to him about his reasons why.
It's getting more and more dangerous every year.
Dangerous? How do you mean?
Like it's getting closer to my home.
Ryan Yakalaya isn't sure how much time he has left living near the ocean. Why do you want to stay so close to the water when it's proving to be a potential dangerous situation for you?
Well, I lived in Tuk all my life, and I always been with the ocean. And when we see the ocean, we know we're home, we're safe, and it's just beautiful. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
Climate change is also impacting the Inuvialuit way of life, harvesting most of their food from the land and the sea.
Eight inches the active layer.
James Kivik, a hunter, also works as a climate change monitor in Tuk. Today, he's measuring snow and permafrost depth.
It's kind of important to us as we're learning our land is starting to melt away underneath our feet. The difference I hope that we make is at least we know what's happening underneath us. We're not wondering what's going to happen. We kind of getting a head start of it by keeping control, or not keeping control, but trying to watch the areas that are sensitive around the community.
So what month were these shot in?
This first part was shot in April. We fast forward right to October.
Inside this classroom, youth are documenting the changes in their community.
Right now we are on the beach right outside of my house. As you can see here, there's a lot of erosion happening.
Ariel Lute and Nathan Kuptana brought their film to COP25 in Spain.
The world should know that we live this far up north, and it's the most affected place in the world. It's our home and it's beautiful, and we need it to stop.
A Tuk that you've grown up in is going to look completely different in the future.
I think that these changes are happening over a time. I think we'll learn how to adapt to it as a community.
We have to adapt to the change. I want to take care of my community. My heart belongs here. I don't want to leave home ever.
The community has, done some shoreline protection, more of a band-aid fix, which has, caused it to slow down. That's the whole intent of trying to get the funding to protect the shoreline, is to slow the erosion down.
The hamlet is lobbying the federal government for $53 million to protect its coastline and Tuk Island. Money that could also buy time for the cemetery.
The biggest thing is to armor this area so at least we don't see coffins floating into the ocean. That's one of the biggest fears that we never want to see.
And if you don't get that funding to make these changes to help adapt to the erosion, what will you do?
There's nothing we can do.
I do miss seeing the ocean and everything. It's also a good peace of mind that I am here, I'm safe.
7 kilometers away from where her family has always lived, Cockney has come to terms with being forced to move her home inland.
It would have been really hard to see it drop into the ocean, honestly. I mean, it would have been so awful.
The worst is behind her, but others will inevitably have to follow her lead, like it or not.
Because everybody eventually would probably move inland. It's pretty hard to imagine. It's actually might, just wash away.
And if everybody does indeed move inland, that means 1,000 people and their homes. It is a major logistical challenge and just one of the many. Residents are also focused on adapting in other ways, like finding new hunting routes. Coming up, a baseball team with a simple goal. Come rain or shine, always hit a home run with the fans.
Hey, hey,
How the Savannah Bananas are turning the game upside down. Paul Hunter introduces us to the team next. The Savannah Bananas are hitting home runs on and off the field. Not only is the exhibition baseball team a TikTok sensation, but more than 500,000 people are waiting for tickets to see them in real life. Paul Hunter now on how they've changed the rules to capture the hearts of fans.
Here we go. Forward, back, out, cross, out.
They are among the most popular athletes in America, here getting set for yet another sold-out game. They are, of course, baseball players. Not just any baseball players, they are the Savannah Bananas. For the uninitiated, check their highlights video.
This is the greatest show in sports.
In short, they've become an absolute baseball phenomenon.
The Savannah Bananas.
Savannah Bananas.
Savannah Bananas.
The Savannah Bananas.
Savannah Bananas.
The Savannah Bananas.
With throngs of adoring fans, they've turned the game downside up.
World's tallest pitcher.
And in a sport steeped in decades-old tradition, the Savannah Bananas, in blowing up the rules, are reinventing baseball. And boy, oh boy, has it paid off.
Oh, Malachi off for first. He's going to steal first base. That is the first time that first base has been stolen.
Get this, the wait list for tickets is now more than 800,000. Can't go in person? All the games are seen worldwide on YouTube. They have more TikTok followers than the New York Yankees, millions more. It is exhibition baseball, but they are real games, with the only goal, entertainment. It is, they underline, all about the fans. They've even made fans a part of the game. If a fan catches a foul ball, the player is out.
Barrel, but foul! Caught by a fan! And that's your ball game! And the entire team going out there to swarm the fan!
All of it, the creation of Jesse Cole. Himself a big part of every inning. Hard to miss in his banana yellow. It's easy to understand his philosophy.
That was my favorite picture of the night.
Put fans first.
And that is rule number one, isn't it? Fans first. Fans first, right?
That's who we are. That's what we stand for. The name of our company is Fans First Entertainment. Our mission is fans first, entertain always. And every decision we ask ourselves, is it fans first?
Fans first. And this season, that includes putting a Canadian on the mound.
And at the center of it all now is Ryan Kellogg.
Ryan Kellogg from Whitby, Ontario, who also stars for Team Canada, here as a banana on Canada Day.
And how about this? The Canadian himself rocking the hat, some Canadian socks.
Leading the play-by-play team to then talk up Kellogg's home country.
Universal health care? It's pretty sweet.
While Kellogg makes his mark on the field.
What's your move?
I'm the Canadian guy, so I'm trying to become your favorite Canadian banana. I pitch out there in a toque. We're waiting on a hockey jersey and hockey pants, so I might try to pitch with a hockey stick or something like that.
What's up, everybody?
And so Kellogg is all in when it comes to all things bananas.
So I'm not a dancer by trade, absolutely, like by any stretch of the imagination, but I've enjoyed every second of it.
Indeed, social media is a critical part of being a banana. Consider that this video with Team Heartthrob Noah Bridges has 30 million views and counting. Is it any wonder they find capacity crowds wherever they go? Meanwhile, back on the day we came to Savannah, bad news. A true baseball tradition has hit hard. And rain threatens the game. But even then, the team sees an opportunity. Check the players in the puddles. Cell phones in hand, they're making a video. After all the splashing, we caught up with pitcher Connor Higgins.
So I tried doing this Mamma Mia trend.
It had tens of thousands of views within hours.
Best fun I played, 5 years with the Los Angeles Angels, and this is the most fun I've ever had playing baseball.
Soon enough, the rain picked up again, and the game was officially canceled.
Come here.
And yet, turning out later, regardless, hundreds of Banana fans, just to maybe meet up with the hottest team in baseball. And you guessed it, even without a game to play, the Bananas came out for them.
It's all about fans first, and obviously we couldn't give them what they wanted, but this is what we can give them, so we're going to give it to them.
World's tallest pitcher, they can't reach him, so he dips down to them.
What's his name?
Stilts.
Stilts. He wrote Stilts on your shirt. What do you think about that guy?
Cool.
He's cool. How do you account for all the love that you're getting and that everybody on this team is getting?
Oh man, I think they say you treat your fans good, they'll treat you even better, and this is a prime example. It rained cats and dogs today, and the people still showed up and showed us that they loved us, and we were going to return the favor every time.
Fans we met had come from New York, Washington State, North Carolina, Colorado, even a fan from Singapore.
How do you watch the Bananas in Singapore?
From YouTube.
What do you want the world to know about the Bananas?
They're super funny and super, fun, and, love the fans.
The remarkable ad hoc fan fest goes on for more than an hour.
Dude, what is it about this team? You just got rained out. You guys are all having the time of your lives.
Man, we always have the time of our life. This is us on a 24/7 day basis. We know that a lot of people come here on long distances. They come here not even thinking about the weather. They just come here for an experience, and we're going to give them that regardless.
Think of it as a lesson to sports teams everywhere. Do everything for the fans, and you can't go wrong. And so even their farewells are done banana style. Because there will be more banana ball to come, almost certainly everywhere.
So, Paul, the Savannah Bananas seem very similar to the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, well, that's a fair comparison, and it's something that comes to mind for a lot of people when they first hear about the Bananas. The team takes that as a compliment, but they also kind of bristle at it. Key difference being that the Bananas play competitive baseball every time. Exhibition games, mind you, and full of theatrics like the Globetrotters, but the baseball itself is real. The Globetrotters win basically game in and game out by design. Not so with the Bananas. They win, they lose, because that's baseball. You can't stage a home run or a double play, but they also entertain hugely. So in a sense, for Banana fans, it's win-win.
It's a great piece. Thank you so much, Paul. That's our Paul Hunter in Washington.
Lo and behold, we looked up, there was that shark fin.
Well, what some fishermen first thought was a tuna turned out to be a much bigger surprise. Their up-close encounter in our moment. Well, that right there is a great white shark. It was spotted just off the coast of New Brunswick last week. A group of fishermen were on the water for a relaxing day of fishing, but they soon got more than what they bargained for when the shark decided to get up close and personal with their boat. This once-in-a-lifetime encounter makes our moment tonight.
Good, he's hooked, he just bit us. Wow. We had seen something a little earlier that we thought might have been a tuna, and coming quite close to the boat. And we stopped to have a little lunch, and lo and behold, we looked up, there was that shark fin. Yeah, it was right beside the boat when we started, when we first saw it, and it was, it was eye to eye with us. Look at him. But to see that shark come right in, circle our boat 6 or 7 times. Didn't even get him in the video. The shark was coming around the bow, but unexpectedly it opened its jaws, you could see so clearly, and I guess maybe it was just trying to floss its teeth in the back of my boat. When we saw the shark, we didn't catch a single fish, but it was the best day of fishing I ever had.
Incredible. Well, Andrew Jones told us that he had seen whales and dolphins before, but never a great white shark until now. And that may be because the great white shark is classified as endangered under Canada's Species at Risk Act. But one shark expert says that the species is rebounding and that sightings like this are a good sign that the population is growing. The expert thinks that the great white shark was just curious about the boat. And that's the National for July 24th. Have a good night.